It's been a few weeks. There's been a delay, not on my doing. Oh, that'd be the furnace. Anyway, so what we got here? Oh, wrong one. So things have changed a lot. Temperatures are a lot colder. The winter's hit, and yeah, everything's a struggle. I'll show you what we've got in today. Standing up in the corner there, we've got the walling and the flooring. We've got the new ceiling. Behind this is this special waterproof walling to cover up all the walls. Part more of the walling. We've got the new toilet seat. We've got all manner of pipework and drains, the glue, the paints, the special paints, varnish, and the tools, extraction. Yeah, we've got enough now to be getting on with. I've got to make up some plumbing joints and bits and pieces. So we've got all the materials in, or most of the materials in, the heavy stuff. And I didn't want it freezing. I'll show you why I didn't want it freezing. Yeah. Anyway, we've got the materials in, and it's nice and warm in here, which is the main thing. So we've got to go and get rid of some other stuff now, and then we'll be back on the job and into opening that wall up, plumbing, putting the floor drain in, and all of that kind of thing. Alright, well, I've opened up that wall, ready for my first fix plumbing, and I've opened up this a lot more. So this is the lowest profile floor drain I could get my hands on. And you can see here I've cut this slot out here for this to go in there. However, ow, have you got your knee pads inside them? No. However, that's a cast pipe there, right, and I can't move that. I can't lower it, it's all cemented in. And I'm nearly there, but I'm around 2 or 3 millimetres, right, you can work that out in imperial, higher than where I have to be. And I have to put another float level on top of this to finish it all off once I've done it, right, to redo all the falls. However, I'm not going that high, and I want to be in there. So I've got another idea. So how these work is he's got this infill trap here, and you can see on the bottom of this, it's got a protruding bit, and that's how much high I am. But I can't take it off because it's pressed out from the inside. And the reason it's pressed out from the inside is because it needs to give that some distance to go in there. What is my clearance exactly in there? 3 millimetres. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to alter the bottom of this. But I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to heat it up. And I'm going to heat it up with my magic gun. Right? This is not your average heat gun. This is not your average heat gun. This is a really expensive piece of equipment, and I used to use this for installing rubberised roofing. And the reason I moved over to rubberised roofing is because I used to fiberglass all the roofs and the gullies and the valleys, and you was constantly subject to the weather when fiberglassing, whereas with rubberised roofing you're not. Anyway, different story, different life, different place. So, can I heat this up sufficiently to get that in there at the right level, at the right angle, and then will that go in? And if that doesn't go in, then I've got to heat that up and form that to the bottom whilst giving it some clearance. Let's try it and see where we go. I don't know if it's not keeping enough. I don't think I let it go completely cold the last time. But if I keep it there, it's below the level of the floor that I want. That's it, that's perfect. That's it. Right, so I've positioned the new drain. I've finished all the drainage underneath and sealed all that up. I've replaced the old floorboards with a bit of ply. And then I've put expanding foam all around where the holes are. So when I pour the concrete doesn't go through. But before I pour the concrete, what I'll do is I'll cut all this expanding foam off so that I can get the concrete all around the drain. But there'll be no holes so it doesn't pour down into the big cavity under the floor. So that's the new position for the floor drain. Well, I thought I'd done everything I could to stop it running. Anyway, it's run. So how far have we got today? Well, we've drained the central heating system and removed the radiator. And then we've filled the central heating system up again. I only drained the top half of the house to get that off. We've opened up the vent into the chimney for the ceiling vent. Put up this new wall. And put the first layer of concrete in and around the drain. Right, I think I showed you that wall, didn't I? Yeah. So this morning we've got our plumbing in. Right, it's a dry run. This is why that's a bit wonky. That's it. So the copper pipes, the hot is the cold. So we take the hot over underneath the sink and then up to the hot side of the shower taps, and then a cold. And that gives us our hot and cold ready to plumb up into our sink and our new hot and cold positions for the shower. Right, that's the first fix. Okay, they're all soldered up. Now I've used expanding foam to insulate the pipes from the brickwork, but in addition to that, to hold these pipes exactly where they are. Because we're going to overboard this wall, same as this wall, and I can't have these pipes moving. So I've fitted the shower thing on there, on the back, to hold the pipes where they need to be. And then I've put sufficient foam in there to lock the pipes against the wall and insulate behind them. And this is going to allow me to be able to pull this off, and those pipes will stay exactly where they are, so that when we overboard it and then put the waterproofing on, those pipes will still be exactly where they are. Otherwise we'll never get that shower back on, and if the pipes are bent or twisted, then they'll never seal and we'll have a leak there. And there's the two taps coming out for the sink. So I haven't even been able to pressure test these, because in order to pressure test them I have to seal off the end of these two, and I can't seal off the end of these two until the pipes are locked into place. So we're going to have to leave that now, and we've got another layer of concrete to put onto there, and we've got this wall to clean up, and then we've got the full ceiling to start forming. So we're going to move on to there. So this is the radiator we took out the bathroom. Not in the best of conditions, I've got to say. Anyway, I've cleaned it up. We're gonna paint it with a special radiator paint in white. Yeah, we've done a few radiators this year. Anyway, let's do this one. There we go. And obviously I've livened up the water and checked my joints, capped them off. So the water behind there is now live, and that's the worst wall done. So that's that wall done, and this wall done. Right, and the radiator off. I actually cleaned up and started painting the radiator this morning. Give it its first coat. Right, now we can put up the full ceiling, and clean up these two walls, and then we're ready to put the self-levelling on the floor. Right, where are we up to? Well, we've been working up here. Well, firstly, even though we had the plumbing on test for 24 hours with no leaks, before I closed it in and I pressure tested it, when I came in this morning, there was the very faintest damp patch down there. Anyway, like I couldn't imagine where that was coming from. So that's the original hot water pipe coming out of the concrete there that I've joined into. So all my plumbing is good. The amount of times, no matter how well I've cleaned them, when you join onto one of the old pipes, it's fatigued or worn through or just will not seal up. Anyway, I've had to open up that bit of wall. There's a lot more damp there than there was. There was only a tiniest little bit, but as I'm checking, I can see it. Anyway, there's a weep on the original pipe. After I'd pressure tested it and all this plumbing had been under pressure for 48 hours, I took all my plumbing stuff off site because obviously I need it where I am. Anyway, I'll have to bring it back. I have to somehow disconnect that pipework or make the seal better. The amount of times connecting onto original pipework. Anyway, could be worse. Right. So I've got the ceiling battening up and I've got the vent tube sealed in. It's really important I seal that because if I don't, then we'll have a cold spot above the ceiling. And I've stripped out the old light, ready for me to disconnect that so I can connect into the new lights. And that's about as far as we can go. I don't want to put the plasterboard up on the ceiling until I have everything I need to go. This tube here will be connected into the ceiling vent, and I have to go and get my plumbing stuff now and come back and cure that because I want to get these walls plastered, and I can't plaster the walls until it's sealed up, and I thought I was there. Anyway, it just goes to show you, you're not. Right, let's go back and get our plumbing stuff. Right, so that's been under pressure now for 48 hours. No dampness, all gone, got it. So we seal that back up there now, and then we can set to and plaster these two walls, which is the job for today. Get these two walls plastered, and if there's enough time, I'd also like to get the self-levelling compound on the floor. But yeah, let's fill that hole back in, get it all covered up, get all this stuff out, get it plastered. Okay, so the walls are plastered and now sanded. Everything's sanded down and the walls are pretty rough. And the floor's all cleaned up. So the next thing to do is to seal up the walls and the new plaster and the floor. And I'm going to use a PVA sealant for that. And the reason I do, there's got so many reasons, there's so many pluses, there's just absolutely no negatives. Firstly, it will seal up the walls and give it another waterproof layer, even though this is now waterproof walling. It will make the glue spread easier, it will make the glue stick easier. If it has to come off, it gives a separation layer between the PVA and the glue, which actually means that it comes off a little bit easier. Not that you would think that with the paint. And it just seals it all up. So the whole thing now is going to get painted with a PVA sealer, including the existing walls where I've now plastered over and the entire floor. And then after that, I'm ready to lay the new floor. And there's no electrics building, and I've still yet to find out why. There's nothing been cut downstairs. I've got two options. I can either second guess what the electrician did or ring him. How do I know him? Because he's the son of the woman that used to live here. So anyway, so what I've done is I've actually laid out the new floor to take all the bends out of it, ready to cut in. So that's just the floor laid out there, ready to go. Right, let's seal this room up. There, sealed up. Now obviously I can't go back into this room until that's dry, which is not such a bad thing because oh, it's not snowing as hard as it was. It's snowing quite hard. That's not so bad. No, it's calmed down a bit now. Right, so we're done in there, and let's see if I can go and investigate these electrics a bit more. It's 28th of December. I started ploughing 6:30 this morning. It's now 15:30, about 7 hours of ploughing, and I've just put the self-leveling floor down. So yesterday we glued this, and we've just laid that. So that's the self-leveling compound. That's down. I'm going to stay off that for 2 days now. I've still got the door to finish, the radiator. Let me show you the radiator. Right, radiator's finished and delivered back. Look at that compared to what it was. That's actually the reverse side as well. That's more important than this, the reverse side, because you can see how good it is. Right, so that's now a white radiator, not that horrible colour. Brackets, and I've done the heads of the bolts. And that's ready to go back up. 2nd of January, back on the job. Perfect. There's a tiny little rough bit I just need to sand down there. I've just put that water on there, that's just come off my boots. Yeah, perfect. We're going to get this floor in. That's what we're going to do. So I'm hoping that's... you can't really see it out here anyway. So I want to get the floor and the wall down pretty quick, because we're about to dive into the extreme minus temperatures. It's been, well, what you could call relatively mild up to now, but it's coming, and it's coming this week, and it's going to be bad. So at the risk, as I've got this heating system in this house running low, of course I need heat to be able to put this flooring down, and I need it as warm as possible. So I don't want to turn the heating in the house up, because I mean that's just going to burn the electricity. But I've got my heat guns and stuff, and I'm going to do a bit of a 30-40 minutes prep on the floor, get it ready, and then yeah, we're going to make an attempt to get this floor in today. That is the key to everything. Okay, I'm going to do my best to explain such a small room. Okay, we're waterproofed all the way around. Right, and we are sealed up, we've got all our drains in. Now, this room in here, this is the wet room floor. It's like a large piece of vinyl. Very susceptible to being heated. Now I've done, I've done hundreds, probably multiple hundreds of bathrooms. But this is without doubt the smallest wet room I've ever done. Now you'd think smaller, right, is better. No, it isn't. Okay, so I've cut out the corners, but I've not cut out the corners complete, because this is going to allow our 4-inch upstand. And then we weld the corners, we heat weld the corners afterwards. And of course in this one, we've got to have a hole here for the drain. We've got the floor drain there. Over here we've got the toilet, here we've got the water supply for the toilet, and here we've got the radiator pipes. So there's an awful lot coming up through this small floor. Now the biggest problem I've got with this is normally, I've done them all in the summer. And of course you can take them outside lay them in the sun and they become like putty and you don't get any creases. The worst thing you want in this is a crease because you won't get it out. So I've got to somehow manoeuvre this into that tiny little room and then start folding. It's also going to be near impossible to film it in any way that's going to make much sense, but I'm going to try. Right, that's an hour and 3/4 to get that in like that. Now I've just got to warm the overall floor up and push out any air bubbles. See, I've got a couple there. I've got to push them out. I haven't cut that one in yet. I've obviously done round the base of the toilet, the pipes and the centre drain. Still on the same day, whatever day that is, 2nd of January. So we've laid the floor, we've come back here, the brown radiator that I'm spraying, I've drilled and hung that on the wall, not plumbed it, and now we're back onto this door. So this door, it had 3 coats of spray. It had a base coat, a mid coat and a top coat, and the door was so bad it was no use. I could still see so many imperfections. So whilst this is a factory finished door, I've taken the unusual step of brush painting it, and I've got to paint it flat and I've got to give it quite a thick coat, and then you brush it in the same way as I've showed you many times before with the varnish, where you just drag it over the top and hopefully the brush marks will disappear. But this, it was not good, and now it's much better. So I've got to leave that there for a minute until I've got some milk to lift that off, and then we'll put it on trestles, and this is a much warmer room. We're going to let that dry for probably 36 hours, and then we'll turn it over, put it back on the blanket and paint the other side. But it's a better finish. It was looking still rough, even though it had 3 coats. So I've given it a hand finish now. The brush marks that are left in there should come out.